Hey guys, Vince from TheProDrummer here again. We're on our 4th Drumset Fundamentals drum lesson. Hopefully you got a lot out of the first 3. If you did, please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below on what topic you'd like me to cover next. In this lesson, our 5th lesson, we're going to build upon what we've learned in the past. So we're going to take the 8th note grooves. We're going to add one more variation to that. It's going to be kick drum on all 4 beats. It's called 4 on the floor. Super common groove that you're going to learn today, and you're going to use it throughout your drumming career. After that, since we learned 16th notes in the past, we're going to take 16th notes and apply those to grooves, not just fills. So now all the grooves that you learned in the past, 1 through 4, we can take and play them as 16th notes, which I'll show you. And then finally, we're going to take the 16th note the 16th note fill we learned last time. We're going to change that around. Instead of moving 4 hits on each drum, we're going to move 2. It's going to sound really cool. Stay tuned. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start with 8th note groove. This is going to be your 5th groove, and it's going to be called 8th note groove number 5. That's what I'm calling it. Also now you can see, I put a camera on my feet so you can see what they're doing. You can't really see my left foot too much with the hi-hat, but if we work on some more step hi-hat, I'll move the camera on that side. But you can see my right foot now. Really quick, just want to talk a little bit more about bass drum technique. I know I talked about that in the second video, but you'll notice here, I'm not really resting the beater on the head like that. I'm leaving it an inch or so off of the head, and you'll notice there is that room under my heel, so I could move my heel back and forth. I can move it up and down, but it's not glued to the floor. Although at times we're going to want to do that. For right now, try and keep both of your heels up as you see me doing. Also, when I strike the drum, I'm letting the beater bounce right back off. It's not being buried in. Again, that's a different technique that we will learn. But for right now, try and have that beater bounce right off the drum head. All right, groove number 5. What we're doing in the hands is going to be exactly the same. We're going to have 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and our right hand on the hi-hat. Snare drum on 2 and 4 like this. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1. And now, instead of playing bass drum on 1 and 3 or 1 in the and of 1, 3 in the and of 3, all of that, which we've done, we're going to play bass drum on all 4 quarter notes on beats 1, 2, 3, and 4. This groove is called a 4 on the floor groove because we're playing all 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, and our kick drum, our bass drum, which is on the floor, 4 on the floor. It's going to sound like this, just the bass drum part alone. 1, 2, 3, 4. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and I'm gonna add in the hands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and just the groove. Okay, let's play it a little quicker. I'm going to add a fill every 4 bars. Just simple 8th notes around the drums. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's a fill. Don't forget that crash and make sure you're counting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay. There's a lot we can do with this. This is a very basic and extremely common dance groove. You'll hear this in dance music, pop music, some rock music, disco music. This idea of having 4 on the floor kind of gets everybody going and gets everybody up to dance, okay? Because of that, what I'm going to do now, when I play a fill, I'm going to keep that bass drum going. It's going to do a couple things for you. One, if the bass drum drops out, sometimes if the bass drum drops out of a groove like this where it's so consistent and in your face, you're going to really feel that, and it's going to bring the energy way down. So I don't want the bass drum to drop out. Even when I'm playing a fill, I'm going to be playing 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just think of it as your foot tapping 1, 2, 3, 4 on beats 1, 2, 3, and 4. Kind of like you're listening to music, you're tapping your foot, same thing, except we're doing it on the pedal. Second thing, it may feel a little weird at first when you're keeping the bass drum going while you're playing a fill around the kit, but it's really going to help with your coordination. If you can keep the bass drum steady and manipulate your hands, it's going to really help with your coordination and going to help with grooves down the line. So you may need to practice that on its own, just bass drum, and then maybe just eighth notes in the hands. And think together, left, or together, apart, together, not together, together, apart, 1, and 2, and. You may have to take it that slow at first to make sure you get it. All right, so I'm going to play it. I'm going to play that fill. I'll play eighth note fills. I may play 16th note. I'm going to play it a little faster, and I'm going to keep that bass drum going. First couple times, listen along. Then when you're ready, maybe you want to back up the recording and try it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and here's the fill. Make sure you're counting. Okay, you get the idea there. What I want to do for you right now, I'm going to play a groove. I'm going to change up the hand pattern, which we will get to in a later lesson. I just want you to hear how different this groove can sound depending on what we put on top, meaning our hands, and keeping that bass drum fairly consistent. I may add a note or take a note away here. I'm also going to improvise the fills, so the fills will be completely different than anything we've done yet, but I want you to hear how cool this sounds once we get all of this in here. Okay. Well, okay, so although I kept the groove pretty consistent, I did change a little bit what I was playing in the hands, but I kept it fairly simple there, which we will get to, I promise. But hopefully you could tell how that really shapes up to be a nice, in-your-face dance groove, kind of gets you out of your chair, gets you ready to dance. That's the best way I could describe it. Sometimes as a drummer, that's what we need to do. We need to get asses out of the seats and get them to dance. So a groove like that, four on the floor, really helps. You could do a lot of stuff on top, but try that. Again, that's groove number 5, eighth notes in the hand, 2 and 4 on the snare drum, or sorry, eighth notes in the hi-hat, 2 and 4 on the snare drum, bass drum on all 4 beats, hence why it's called 4 on the floor. Now what I'd like to do is go all the way back to groove number 1. I'm going to play that for you. 8th notes in the right hand, snare drum on 2 and 4, bass drum on 1 and 3. Nice and slow with counting out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay. What we're going to do now is take that groove and we're going to change what our right hand is playing. So this is going to be a totally different type of groove. It's going to be a 16th note groove. If you remember, 16th notes are twice as fast as, or they sound twice as fast as 8th notes, and we count them. 8th notes are this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 16th notes are 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1. So I'm going to play 8th notes in my hi-hat just for 1 bar and then 16th notes. 8th notes and 16th notes. So you can hear the difference back to back. Listen how 16th notes sound twice as fast as the 8th notes. Okay? And I'll keep track of beat 1 on the snare drum so you know where that is all the time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 16th. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 8th. 16th. 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1. So now what we're going to do, we're going to play groove number 1 again, bass drum on 1 and 3, snare drum on 2 and 4, but 16th notes in the hi-hat. Let me just play it for you without counting so you could hear it, and then I'll add the counting. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. One E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Okay. Notice, even though there's more notes, it's a little bit more laid back than the 8th note grooves, in my opinion. It will depend how we play them and the context in which they're played, but it's a little bit more laid back than the 8th note grooves. This is a little paradoxical thing, which is kind of cool. Just keep this in the back of your head. Even though we're playing more notes in our right hand, and we may be playing those notes at a faster rate, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a then 8th notes, the groove may end up being and feeling slower because the quarter note, 1, 2, 3, 4, is actually a little slower because we need to slow it down to get all those notes in. This is what I mean. Before we were playing 8th note grooves maybe at this tempo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So the quarter note is here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I can play the 16th note groove at that tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 and a 4 and a 1. But it's probably a little hard to play it at that tempo when we first start, so that's why we're slowing it down. So the tempo we were playing it before, E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a. That's the quarter note, which is actually a little slower than we were playing the 8th note. Just a little point, but it's important to know the relationship between the notes we're playing and the underlying tempo. All right, so let's take that groove, and then I'm going to play a 16th note fill, just regular 16th notes, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. and then back to the hi-hat, and you'll hear what that sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. One E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a here's the fill. Still playing the crash, and we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so I was still playing the crash on beat 1, but then instead of switching to the hi-hat on the and of 1 like we would with an 8th note, we're playing 1 E and 2. Switches right on the E. 1 E. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a. We could take this groove, we could play it on the ride as well. 3 E and a 4 E and a. Gives it a little bit more of a lighter, open, airy sound. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Stay relaxed. Even though we're playing a lot of notes, we want to play nice and light, nice and relaxed. Use rebound from the cymbal. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay. So take that groove, experiment with it. You can take all of the grooves we did, 1 through 5, and play them as 16th notes. For example, let me play you groove number 4. That's bass drum on 1 and the and of 1, 3 and the and of 3. Or, yeah, 1 and the and of 1, 3 and the and of 3. 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay. Take this, play around with it. Also, make sure you're listening to music with these kind of grooves in it. I would, if you don't know the name, Google Jeff Porcaro. Okay, the late great Jeff Porcaro, fantastic drummer in the 80s and 90s. Just a killer drummer. His right hand playing 16th notes. Oh, so sweet, so sexy, so beautiful. Such a beautiful sound. Check out some of the work he did with Toto, and he's just such a prolific, or was such a prolific studio musician. A lot of the notes in his right hand when he plays those 16th notes, they just have this wonderful, almost like a dance quality to them. They just sound wonderful. So check out any of the recordings Jeff Porcaro has been on, and you'll get a sense of what I'm talking about. Yeah, enjoy that groove. Now, let's go to a new fill. We're going to go back to 8th note groove, but to 16th note fills. Here we go. Okay. So let's go back in the mindset of 8th note grooves, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 16th note fills, 1 and 3 and 4 and. I'm just going to give you a little bit different way to move them around the drums. So far, we've played each beat on a different drum, and hopefully mentally you were thinking, okay, beat 1 here, beat 2 here, beat 3, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. I could keep doing that around the drums. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. And so on. We're going to take that fill, but we're going to split it up now. Instead of keeping one whole beat on the drums, we're just going to keep 2 hits on the drums. So the first fill I'm going to give you, it's going to be 1 E and a, okay? And we're going to do that 4 times. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. So the notes are at the same rate, but we're moving them around faster. 1 E and a, dot, 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 dot. Okay, let's play that with an 8th note groove and see how this sounds. I'll play it with 8th note groove number 2. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and here's the fill. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Again. Okay. We're going to do the same thing, but now I'm going to play 1 E and a, 2 E and a to the floor tom, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay? 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 4 E and a. With groove number 2 again, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Here's the fill, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Again, no counting, at least not out loud, always keeping track. Okay, we can take this idea and move it around the drums in different ways. So let me try. I'll go one. I'll just play it a couple different ways. Here we go. 3 and 4 and so we have. Sorry, that was a bad start. I'm gonna play it a couple different ways, but I wanted to say one more thing. Just gonna play the fill, no groove. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Ready? A different one. Here I go. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. Different one, no counting out loud so you could hear the fill. Okay, that's a cool one. What did I do there? 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E, middle tom, and a, floor tom. Again. Let's play that one with a groove. I'll go a little faster. 1 and a, 2 E and a, 3, 4. Sounds really cool when you get that comfortable. Even if you speed it up faster than that, it's going to sound really badass. You'll notice the groove I played was still an 8th note groove, but I started adding in other notes in there. I'm going to start doing that. You don't need to necessarily know how to play them right away, but I want you to be hearing some of the possibilities of these grooves. We're going to add in 16th notes in the 8th note grooves. We're going to add in something that's called ghost notes. We're going to do a lot of different things with them. So from now on, if I play a groove, if we're not specifically trying to learn an exact groove, I may embellish it a little bit, change it around, so you could just kind of hear some of the possibilities. Okay, so that's basically it, guys. Take that fill, move it around, 1 E and a, 2 E and a. You can start anywhere you want. You do not need to start on the snare drum. We could go. Some of the fills will sound great. Some of them you might not like as much. I know I've said that, but just experiment. You could also play it on the ride and play those fills. Let me play that last fill one more time. Just speed it up so you could really hear how it sounds. Okay, stay nice and relaxed when you're playing that. Try and make sure when you're hitting the toms, everything is nice and even. No notes are jumping out way louder than the others. But take that, have fun with it. So you've got the 16th note grooves, you've got the 8th note 4 on the floor groove, and now these 16th note fills. Enjoy, and I'll see you in the next lesson.